Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audio fiction. This is a new one for Marichat Monday and it's called Joker and the Queen and it's based on the lyrics by Ed Sheeran. So I hope you enjoy it. Massive shout out and thank you to Swortoi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's a Ukrainian artist and I commissioned this piece specially for this story. So make sure you go and send her loads of love. All her information is down below listed. It is just beautiful. So make sure you smash that like button, show me some love, comment down below what you think of it, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on other one-shot series and other treats that are coming your way very soon. And I hope you enjoy. Marinette's POV. She was going to do it. She was finally going to confess to him how she really felt. She was going to look into his beautiful soul, dive into his green eyes, and tell this boy who has been sending her crazy for the past 4 years. Yep, she was going to tell him she loved him. No going back. She added extra tiny marshmallows to his hot chocolate, hoping he would notice the gesture. She carefully constructed the strawberry and cream macaroons she had baked that morning, now sitting endearingly on the plate. Everything had been planned out, organized to the smallest of daydream details. She had pictured this moment with him for a while now, but the words always seemed to fail her at the last second. Why was this so hard? Our friendship has blossomed to this strange limbo, where we aren't quite dating but hadn't spoken what's in our hearts either. He would come round, talk, listen, study, curl up and watch a movie. Oh, his arms are the best place in the world. There is nowhere I feel safer, at peace. But since we had kissed, that accidentally caught up in the moment, staring into his eyes as he cupped my face, kiss. That earth-shattering, turn my world upside down sensation as he ran his hands through my hair whilst pulling me in tighter, causing every hair on my skin to stand on end. How, for a moment, the world just suddenly stopped. It froze. We were the only ones that mattered. As if our kiss had the power to break down time itself. But it wasn't just the kiss. It was the sudden stomach-lurching, high-speed roller coaster flip, making me realize how much I love him. But then it stopped, and I'm aware of the heat in my cheeks as I search his eyes for a slither of truth. Did he feel that moment too, or was it just me? All I can hear is the pounding of my heart, my teeth tugging on my bottom lip. I can't breathe. I need to, but I can't. He was doing it for me, but he has let go, and I can't breathe. But I must. My head is swirling. Please don't let go. Without you, I will fall. I begged silently. Had he heard me? Edging closer again, filling my senses with the tropical scent of coconut from his hair. Do I dare reach out and touch it again? Feel the soft strands tickle my fingers? Before, I wouldn't have second-guessed. Already, the kiss has changed things. For a second, I steal a glance at his lips I now know so well. Do I dare close the gap? Does he? the sigh, the gut-wrenching sound of mistake. And yet, how could that kiss have been anything but right? She had felt it in her soul that day, so why hadn't he? The moment his hand had released its grip, she fell, tumbling down into a chasm of confusion, of guilt for not having realized earlier, of all her past deeds biting her in the backside. As she watched him take a step back from her, the warmth was replaced with a chill that seeped into her skin, buried tunnels through her muscles, and found a way into her heart. He said nothing. She said nothing. They just stood there amongst deafening silence. The screaming voice inside her mind called out for her to tell him, speak the words you had rehearsed for countless hours. But fear stopped her. It was not a no until he says it. It's not a no until you hear it. It's not a no until you declare it. Her mind was screaming, but yet her mouth opened and nothing came out. Not even a friendly sweet dream, or that cheeky wink as he jumped onto the railing, or creating plans for another night before this one was officially over. There was nothing but a sigh as he had left, removing himself away from her, widening the chasm and leaving her in darkness for a whole week. Once he had returned, there had been apologies for the distance and the silence, a hug that made her skin tingle, but they didn't speak of it. The moment had become a forbidden word, not spoken in case it messed up their friendship. But that line had been crossed to the point it was a faded mark lost on the horizon. They couldn't go back, even if they wanted to. If she was honest with herself, she didn't want to go back. She had thought of their kiss. It was all she could think about. Every minute of every day, she wanted to kiss him, her kitty. She wanted to feel his arms grip onto her and never let go, as she finally whispered words of all-consuming love into his ear, to take the chance that he might feel the same way. He had loved Ladybug once. He loved her as a friend, and the kiss? No one could kiss like that and not be in love. Oh, she hoped. She stared down at the sugary treats. No pressure. Just wait until he's happy and riding a sugar high, then simply tell him how he is your world. The fluttering butterflies had transformed into akumas, turning her stomach into a churning monster, threatening to be sick. No, I can do this. She stepped into her bedroom, holding out the tray, but he was nowhere to be seen. Then she heard the shuffle and the soft patter of his boots on her balcony. She was secretly glad he had chosen that spot. Their spot, where they had curled up and pretended to watch the stars, or used the rain to disguise the tears. It was there she had realized she loved him, in love with him. It was there she searched the rooftops for a glimpse of his figure, hoping he would drop by. The added bonus, it was a nice night. The shift from spring into summer was finally happening. Those nights which held a sweet scent of the early blossoming roses, sweet williams and lilies and countless flowers, before the day got too hot and the nights muggy. He had switched on the fairy lights, casting himself in this golden glow which bounced off his hair and absorbed the light into the darkness of his suit, creating shadows across his mask. Oh, who was this man, standing in front of her? How can you love someone so absolute and not even know his name? She knew his soul, but not his address. But Whoever he was, it didn't matter. The only thing that did was as if he felt the same way. "Here, let me get that for you." Cat reached down and took the tray from her hands and placed it on the coffee table as she climbed up through the skylight. "Thanks, Kitty." He picked up the 2 mugs. His had an image of a black cat she had painted onto a green background, whilst hers was a reverse, a pink mug with white cherry blossoms. "Wait, did you give me extra tiny marshmallows?" "Oh, did I?" she smirked. "Must have been a mistake." Her fingers brushed against his, taking the mug, and for the briefest of microseconds, she caught his eyes, which were already staring at her. He broke away first, readjusting his attention to the plate of treats. "And the strawberry and cream macaroons that I love? I think they might be taking number 1 slot." "You still won't tell me your favorite flavor. How can a flavor give away your identity?" "Well, I haven't had the other ones in a while now." She was surprised by his sigh, casting his gaze down for a moment and yet stealing a quick glance her way. Had Papa stopped making something she wasn't aware of? "Anyway, like I said, these are becoming my number 1, especially knowing you made them." "Yeah, a lot of love went into them." She paused, realizing not just what she had said, but how. She took a sip of a tepid chocolate and swallowed down a marshmallow which had turned gooey, catching in her throat, while staring at the lights flickering across the city. She felt his presence next to her, his shoulder rubbing against hers, heart and breathing racing at his subtle scent. I want to tell you something. You might not, it could," he said in a low voice, weighing his words carefully. "Wait, Kitty, there is something I want to say too." She turned slightly as he placed his gloved hands over hers. "What is it, my queen?" He kept his sight on their hands, which were performing their own dance. "Queen? I thought I was your princess." "You got promoted. You are no longer the girl, my princess, I first met. Rather, you have evolved into a queen, whilst I'm merely your court joker, humbled to be allowed in your presence." "The joker and the queen? Oh, but you are so much more to me. If I'm your queen, then you are my king." His wide, questioning eyes darted up and held hers, searching for a hint of mockery. "I mean it, my kitty. I should have told you a while ago now how much you mean to me. All the time we have spent together, and how I think of you when we aren't." "You mean friendship, or—" "Yes, our friendship is everything to me, to the point it has stopped us, from saying how I really feel." She paused. The building, burning sensation in her throat made it difficult for her to breathe, never mind speak her heart. She closed her eyes and felt his hand cup her cheek, running the tips of his fingers, claws, lightly across her skin, creating a wave-rippling sensation to shoot down her neck and spread across the whole of her body. She opened her eyes to the weight of his forehead touching hers, and his eyes were right there, green and glowing, boring into her. "I love you. I do. I love you, Kitty." The words had poured out of her mouth, but she had said it. She had finally confessed, and it felt good. Until it didn't. His hand dropped from her face. He pulled back from her. "My queen, I don't see how. Take that step." "Why not? Do you not? I was hoping, but maybe I got it wrong. I had thought the way in which we had spent countless nights talking together, sharing moments, needing one another, how we had kissed. You kissed me back, then your touch. I mean, I understand if you don't. She fixed a stare on her empty hands, craving to hold his. In a single move, he engulfed her in his arms. Do you honestly mean it? No take-backs? No deciding when things get hard it's no longer worth it? His breath tickled her skin on her neck. She ran her hand through his hair, knowing it might make him purr. I mean it, Kitty. With all my heart. He leaned his head back a little so that his cheek leant against hers. When I first started coming here, how was I to know this would happen? It's a crazy thing. I showed you my hand and you still let me win your heart. Was he really saying what she hoped to hear? Does he feel the same? He rubbed his cheek against hers, shifting it slightly so that the lips were almost touching. And who was I to say that this was meant to be? The road that was broken and brought us together? How I came to you so that I would stop feeling alone. I never thought you could ever love me. The most I hoped for was friendship. We were both broken together, but you have healed me in ways I didn't know was possible. The corner of her lips touched his and felt his chest vibrate with the purr. And I know you could fall for 1,000 kings and hearts that would give you a diamond ring. But that's not what I want. Your heart alone is priceless to me. Could you accept me for me? Marinette, it's not even a question. You have the biggest heart I know. When I fold, you see the best in me. But I'm the joker, and you are the queen. You are no joker. Okay, your puns might need some work. She chuckled at his raised eyebrows, but melted underneath the tenderness of his gaze. I mean it. Loving you, and I didn't think I could love again. I've been played before, if you hadn't guessed, so I kept my cards close to my foolproof vest, because I knew if I fell in love with you, I could lose myself, whilst you loved another I could never compare to. My queen, it is the other way round. No one could compare to you. But you called my bluff and saw through all my tells. And then you went all in, the kiss, and I knew. I fell for you, my joker, my kitty. I fell into the chasm of love, followed by pain. And we pulled apart, you left, thinking we couldn't be together. He cradled her jaw in his gloved hands, but she kept her gaze low, knowing if she looked up, the tears would fall. But what she hadn't expected was for his lips to brush against hers. The taste of strawberry and chocolate blended in with the salt of her tears. He was kissing her, out of love or pity. But as he pulled her in closer and she returned the kiss, the same sensation exploded inside of her heart. This had to be love. I don't know what I did to deserve your love, he muttered, added in an extra kiss. Kitty, you deserve the world, but all I can give you is my heart. And I know you think that what makes a king is gold, a palace, and a diamond ring, but none of those matter. It never has. Because when I fold, you see the best in me. In my eyes, you are the king and not the joker, and I would happily be the queen if I had you standing next to me. Marinette, do you really mean it? I love you too, and I know you could fall for 1,000 kings, but I only want one. And hearts that would give you a diamond ring. I would take a gummy one if it came from you. Not that we aren't, are we? He pulled her in and kissed her rolling lips between her teeth. I would hope one day. I love you. Really? Truly? Not from pity? Or that I said it? Do you really love me? Just me? Marinette? Why? Yes, you think I'm joking when I call you my queen, but I'm not. You stand out against the rest. Your heart, mind and soul. Because when I fold, crumple and down, you saw the best in me. You put me back together, wanting nothing in return, and yet you gave me more than anything I could ever wish for. You gave me your heart, which I will treasure, protect as I give you mine. He gently placed his hand over her chest while leaning his forehead against hers. What a pair we make. The Joker and the Queen? Yeah, the Joker and the Queen, or Kitty and his Marinette. He sighed again. I wish I could say my name against yours, to hear it come out your mouth. When you know, he paused, will you still love me? When you know who I am? I know who you are. His eyes darted open as panic flashed across his face. You do? Not your name. She shook her head, smiling at the look of relief. I know who you are. Every inch of your ever-giving heart. Your clever mind, but you play the fool. And your soul was made to fit into mine. Tears were washing down her face, but not from fear, from love. And overwhelming, can't contain it any longer, love. That this man I love, the person who carries many names, Kitty, Prince, superhero, my king, my joker. What is one more to add to the list? I don't deserve you. I can't believe this is real. She mirrored his gesture, skimming her thumb against the edge of his mask, wiping away the channels of tears. Why wouldn't you deserve it? She said in a tender voice, replacing her thumb with her lips, kissing away the tears, kissing away the pain she saw on his face. There was silence as he built up the courage to speak the words he had been terrified to say. His body vibrated with anxiety instead of purring. Because I don't think anyone does love me. Not since Mother had left. But what about family? Friends? What about Ladybug? She loves you. Maybe not in the way that you had, but you are her partner. But no more special than others. And my friends mean the world to me. But this love? He pressed harder against her chest, knowing he felt her heart racing, gaining encouragement from the increasing tempo of the beat. And when his eyes bore into hers, he grinned as it skipped in a merry dance. No one has loved me like this. Promise me this isn't a dream, that I will wake to find myself alone once more, empty, without you beside me. She kissed him hard against his lips, pressing her fingers against his back to the point they looked pale white against the black. She stopped suddenly and pulled back, smirking at his sound of disappointment. Did that feel like a dream, my love? Your love, he proclaimed, lifting her up into the air. She was flying, soaring above the clouds of anguish, pain, loneliness, which had caused a storm of tears to descend for years. But now he gave her wings. He was her light, her hope, producing a beam of sunshine powerful enough to break through the clouds. He was her love. Have I told you today how beautiful you are? How your eyes are sparkling like sapphire tropical seas? I love how expressionate your eyes are. How had I never noticed the depths before? He lowered her back down, pulling her in tight, but his eyes never left hers. There is so much I haven't seen, blind and consumed by another, but what I felt for them doesn't even compete to the same league as you. I know what you mean, and I'm sorry I didn't realize earlier. Do you mean Buttercup? She nodded, not wanting to picture Adrian in this moment, or rather Felix. Can I ask, did you ever tell him how you felt? No, it wasn't meant to be. It was always you. She hoped he couldn't hear the pain in her voice. Maybe that's why I could speak from the heart that day. I remember staring at you and wishing you were speaking to me, telling me how much I meant to you, how much you loved me. And now I am. And now you are. This must be a dream. Do you want me to kiss you again to prove that this isn't? Always, my love. I relish your kisses, and I'm sorry for how I reacted after the first one. I was scared. How much I loved you. How everything that I held dear would be taken away. Believing it couldn't. So you hid. But I get it. You needed time and space. He pulled her down to the seat beside him, wrapping his warm arms around her. I promise never to do that again. I never want to be parted from you. I love you to a point I can't express with words. But I hope you can feel it, my queen. She leaned her head against his chest, soothed by the steady beat, until she ran her fingers across his chest, following the lines, guiding her to his exposed skin around his neck, the indent below his ear, and the now chiseled line of his jaw. She listened to the quickening tempo, smiling at the goosebumps forming across his skin. I do. This was it. Time stood still once again, locking them into this perfect moment. She had confessed. He had confessed. They were in love. The Joker and the Queen. He was the one. The person she would do anything for. Defy others. Defeat Hawkmoth. Risk it all. She would even break the world. A flash of carte blanche flooded her mind. Their love. No, that event had long passed. That was another time, not theirs. This time it would be different. It had to be. She glanced up and stroked away a tear cascading down his cheek. It had to be different. Their love would heal the world, not break it. Right? Thank you for listening to Joker and the Queen. I hope you enjoyed it. Slightly different kind of writing style, so I hope you really enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button if you did. It means the world to me, and it really does help to support the channel. Make sure you comment down below what you think of it, and make sure you subscribe, and so you do not miss out on other treats like this, other series that are happening, and the new 7 stages that is coming soon. This beautiful 7-part series all about Adrianette. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you are good, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.